From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your afternoon update.
You want to go where to buy a new refrigerator? Steve's A to Z Appliance in Cottonwood? In Cottonwood? Just a 10-minute drive. And they'll save us money. New and used, honest, reliable, factory-trained repair service and parts, and they'll save us money. And dispose of this thing? We gotta make the short drive to Steve's A to Z. Thanks, hon.
Steve's A to Z Appliance, front and main streets in Cottonwood. Drive a little, save a lot.
Well, we're looking at that typical unsettled weather pattern setting itself up here this afternoon. We look at the cameras across the region, Crescent City, for example, out at Harbor District. You can see the overcast skies here, but you look off in the distance and there are some breaks in the clouds here. And of course, the scattered showers and probably even seeing a chance for a few thunderstorms here and there as well, eventually, as we go through the afternoon. There's a look at Lake Oroville, North Forebay. Same story here. We've got a lot of cloud cover out there, but there is some breaks and parts in the clouds that we do allow to see a little bit of sunshine here as we go through the morning hours here today. We take you out to Trinity Center, and it's pretty much the same situation there. You got a lot of cloud cover, but also you'll see some blue here in the sky, making for another not so bad start to the day. Now, there's a little bit more overcast and a lot of low clouds and even some snow, it looks like, as we take you out to the South Visitor Center, or South Entrance, that is, out at Lassen Park. And you can see that's at 6,700 feet. So that's to be expected for us to see the snow at that elevation. So we do have showers with possibility for some thunderstorms again here for today. It's going to be a bit of a carbon copy of what we saw yesterday, but different locations seeing rain, other locations seeing thunderstorms that may have not seen them yesterday. But we do expect to see snow levels slowly dropping over the next few days, down to a point, especially for Sunday morning, where it could run into a few problems here when it comes to chain requirements. We'll get into that a little bit later. But we do have a weak atmospheric river coming in on Sunday, which will be the bigger impact here as we go through the weekend. Although this system coming in on Sunday won't be quite as strong as the one that we saw on Wednesday. And then chances for rain will continue as we go into next week as well. So here's kind of the big story, the overall setup. You can see an area of low pressure right here. The rotation around that low is something to kind of bring in that cold and unstable air. See how that cold and unstable air, the speckled clouds, that's what's moving into Northern California. But another thing I've got my eyes on is right here. It doesn't look very organized right now because it isn't. It is still in its organizational phases right now. But as it moves off to the east, it will begin to gain strength, get a little bit more organized, and it will combine with this colder air. See, this is all subtropical moisture. This is an atmospheric river setting itself up and moving in our direction. It'll be here by Sunday, and that main atmospheric river will be down to the south. But as this all kind of joins forces, this up to the north and all of this kind of coming in, they'll join forces, work together, the colder air mixing in with that subtropical moisture, starting off with low snow levels on Sunday, and then eventually, of course, looking at those snow levels rising. We'll get into that here in a little bit more detail in a second when we look at futurecasts, but there you can see that colder air filtering in here for today. Now, there is a chance for thunderstorms this afternoon, and we will look at the severe outlook. Basically, the areas in green is where we have the best potential to see thunderstorms today. And you can see that here as we look at futurecast. We do have that around noon today. Then we go into the afternoon, and you can see those thunderstorms beginning to pop up. Now, some of them will be stronger than others, and some areas may see thunderstorms, other areas not so much. So the amount of rainfall that we get today will really depend on if you see any thunderstorms or not. And of course, just some of the scattered showers that we've seen here throughout the morning. Snow levels between 3,000 and 4,000 feet, they will lower. So we'll get closer to 3,000 feet and maybe even below that as we go into the afternoon and evening. There you can see 6 p.m. on Friday. We're starting to kind of quiet things down here for the valley. Still a chance for a few showers, but we are seeing a lot of that snow off to the east. We've seen some chain requirements east of I-5 this morning. I think we could be looking at more of those chain requirements here as we go through the afternoon as well. All right, let's take a look at Saturday morning. And really Saturday, not a whole lot going on. Yes, the snow levels are starting to drop 2,500 to 3,000 feet, but you'll notice we're not seeing much in the way of rain, or really not even much in the way of even snow flurries either. In fact, you can see by 5 p.m. Saturday, it's actually drying out. Now, here is the key to Sunday's forecast, or one of the several keys to Sunday's forecast, is this. You see how we're starting to see some clearing here? If we clear things out, as it states right here in Futurecast, what that's going to do is a couple of things. Number one, as it clears out, we've already got cold air in place. As you clear the skies out, that's going to allow our temperatures to really plummet and get cold. And then what happens is, as we go into Sunday, see how the clouds kind of filter in advance of this storm system. What that will do is tend to trap in some of that colder air and allow us to see fairly low snow levels to start off on the day on Sunday. I've got snow levels as low as 2,000 feet, locally lower in some cases, but for the most part, on average, around 2,000 feet. So places like Hayfork, Weaverville, you might start to see some snowflakes, and just snowflakes, and maybe even some light accumulation. Now you'll notice here when we look at this, here's I-5, you can see it's in the form of snow. Here's look at Highway 3, Scott Mountain, right? You can see Buckhorn Summit right here. That looks to be in the form of snow. And then of course, as you start heading eastward, that's where we typically see most of the snow. Now that's early in the morning at 6 a.m. Now we take you into about 9 a.m. on Sunday. You see how our numbers, don't forget the fact that we're seeing some of that moderate to heavy rainfall for the valley. So the rain will be coming down in some areas here. Now, as of right now, there are no flood warnings or flood watches or flood alerts or anything of that nature. But keep in mind, the ground is already very saturated. So if we see heavy rainfall, and especially even in the foothills and mountains, that is going to allow for us to see some runoff into the valley, and we could be looking at the potential for some more flooding in many of the low-lying areas. And a lot of the areas that saw flooding with this past atmospheric river may see more flooding with this system going on into Sunday. So just bear that in mind as we go into Sunday. Now, we're only looking at 9 a.m. on Sunday. I've still got snow levels between 2,000 and 2,500 feet. But look at this at 9 a.m. along I-5 here. This is all snow. As you start heading up around Lakehead northward, we keep looking at the potential for some snow there. There's a look at Buckhorn Summit. There's the snow there. There's Highway 3, Scott Mountain. There's a look at some snow there. But, you know, there are a lot of those lower areas on Highway 299. But, you know, Berry Summit, looking at the potential to maybe see some snow there as well. And maybe around Shingletown, head into Upper Shingletown around Viola, not to mention the north entrance of Lassen Park. So yeah, we're seeing the lower elevation snow. Sunday morning is going to be that morning that I just recommend not traveling if you don't have to. Okay? Then we go into noon on Sunday. Now, look what's happening. Now, I bumped the snow levels up to 3,000, 3,500 feet because look what's happening. You see how we're not seeing as much snow closer to the valley? That's because this is that atmospheric river, and that warmer air is beginning to kind of move on in, and it's allowing our snow levels to rise a bit. So you can see at noon, we still might see some snow around Mount Shasta City northward, but you know, maybe even, let's see if I can look here closely. Yeah, it looks like near Buckhorn Summit as well, but now we're seeing more and more in the way of rain as you head west of that. So snow levels are starting to climb at least by the noon hour. And then we take you into about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We're still seeing that rain in the valley. And now if you look at Buckhorn Summit, it looks like it's going to have a harder time in the form of snow. And it looks like we're having a harder time. Do you see this right here? This is all looks like it's in the form of rain. Even around Mount Shasta City, around 3,500 feet, we're beginning to see it turn over more to rain. So again, that warmer air beginning kind of filter on in. There's a look at Sunday at 5 p.m. I mean, we're still seeing a lot of that snow, but it looks like conditions are going to at least be a little bit better as we go into the second half of the day on Sunday. Then by Sunday night, still some snow out there. And in fact, snow levels may drop a little bit as we go into the overnight hours, but between 3,000 and 3,500 feet. But we're seeing less of that overall coverage, and we're breaking away from that atmospheric river, and things won't be quite as messy as we go into Sunday night and going into Monday. Rainfall estimates through Sunday night. Yeah, I think about 1 inch to 1.5 inches are not out of the question here for the valley. And you'll notice most of it is in the valley. We're not seeing as much in the mountains or even the coast for that matter. So the main rain event will be in the valley. Now, I want to show you the forecast snow totals. Now, it is picking up on Friday, today, the potential for some light accumulating snow in Weaverville, Hayfork. Nope, don't think that's going to happen. I don't even think it's going to happen for Bernie, but Chester, not out of the question. But we're not seeing a whole lot of that snow out there today either. Now we go into Saturday. Once again, it is showing some accumulation towards Weaverville, Hayfork. Again, I don't see it happening. Number one, because I just don't think we're going to see a lot of snow or rain for that matter on Saturday. Saturday is a bit of the transition between storms, okay? Because look what happens as we go into Sunday. Now we're going to see that all just kind of come on in. Now, it's not out of the question for Weaverville, Hayfork to see some light accumulation. Upwards of 1 inch, 2 at most. I think 2 to 4 might be pushing it for Hayfork, but we'll see. But look at Chester. Chester could be looking at the potential of getting around 1 foot of snow, give or take. Bernie, I think you might see some accumulation, and not to mention Mount Shasta City. So we are seeing better potential for some of that lower elevation snow, obviously just not in the valley. Now look at the snowfall impacts, right? For tomorrow, not much of an impact, right? Because we're just not going to see a lot. But look at this as we transition into Sunday. Now you're seeing, as you head into those higher mountain passes, a better chance of seeing chain requirements and impacts. And again, Sunday's that day that I just do not recommend travel. Okay. Now we take a look at Futurecast, and we're going to take you into 5 p.m. on Sunday. Now we're going to take you into your Monday. We're still seeing some showers on Monday. Snow levels probably somewhere around 3,000 to 4,000 feet on Monday. Then we take you into your Tuesday, and really going through next week, we'll continue to see a few storms coming in from the north, which will keep our chances for showers off and on through next week. It's just the overall timing and the intensity and the snow levels, that's all going to change as we get closer to next week and really go through next week. So outdoor plans next week, I would recommend checking the forecast daily because it'll most likely change as we get closer to next week. All right, there are your wave heights for today. 16 to 17 feet, but they should start to drop here as we take you on into your Saturday. All right, here's a look at your forecast for today. Those temperatures will be in the mid-50s for many of us in the valley today, and in the 30s and 40s, right around upper 30s to low 40s here for the higher elevations, and it looks like in the upper 40s to low 50s for the inland areas and along the coast. So there's your 7-day outlook for the mountains, basically Mount Shasta, El Terce, and Susanville. So you see how snow levels drop as we go into Saturday, and then they start to increase through the day. So again, they'll be lowest around Saturday night, Sunday morning, and then start to increase Sunday afternoon, and not to mention going into your Monday, and then a chance for some more showers off and on going into Wednesday, Thursday. Your 7-day forecast for the valley, chance for thunderstorms this afternoon, otherwise maybe a chance for a few showers on Saturday, but don't count on much. Better chance for that heavier rainfall coming in on Sunday. And then on Tuesday, maybe a bit of a break, and then maybe more showers coming in for Wednesday and Thursday. Again, it's going to be off and on through next week. Looking at your 7-day outlook for the coast, inland, and Weaverville. Of course, we've got the chance with thunderstorms inland and for the coast. Weaverville, you could see snow levels as low as 2,500 feet. That'll be the case again on Saturday in particular, and then slowly increasing Sunday afternoon into Monday. And then maybe another fairly low snow levels here for next Wednesday. Just that slight chance for showers here as we go basically off and on through most of next week.